This may sound crazy. Nothing ever sounds crazy. This may sound crazy, but I feel I've witnessed a change in frequency of a man in his eyes changed. Um, if they did, then yes. This is why I take my glasses off. Okay, this is why I do this when I'm channeling. If you see the color of my eyes and the look in my eyes when I'm just Leonard O'Neill, and then when I'm channeling and I'm talking to you as a higher being, there is a change because what's coming through to you right now, Leonard has moved over and Samael is talking to you. Okay, so if you have the sight and the ability to see the soul that is Leonard when he's talking, you'll see a difference in the look in my eyes. And the color of my eyes will also change. So if you see somebody who gets like darker eyes, that's usually because they're channeling somebody who's dark, or their higher self is evil, or they are actually evil and they're coming through that way. Unless they're a witcher and of course they drank something and then they're going to turn with the black eyes, and look out when that happens. Get the fuck out of the witcher's way. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game, read the books, or watched the show, but my wife has the books and we will love the show. Okay, so I apologize, Brooke. Did you have something else that had popped up that I missed? So no, if you, that's why I try to take these off, but I have to put them on. These eyes from this body are damaged and I can't read very well. So even when I'm channeling or anyone else is channeling through these eyes, I would have to change the eyes to be able to see. I can see a distance great, and I could read about this far away, but that far away, this eye can read it, but that one's blurry, right? So I would have to, focus just on one eye to read it. So it's easier for me to put on reading glasses real quick and then take them off. But I leave these off and leave my eyes open so that you can see the difference. Some people, like the guy who channels Bashir, closes his eyes. A lot of people do it that way. That bugs me when people do that because I can't see their eyes, because I like to see who's in there. But you can tell by the body language. Look at Bashir. You can't. If you met Bashir, you would know who Bashir is. Bashir is bombastic. Bashir is loud. I love Bashir. He's funny, right? So if you didn't know who Bashir was, you would go, he's just making that up. But if you ever met Bashir off world, you would see that that's Bashir, man. And there's some people that channel some of the people that are council members that I know, and I'll watch them. There's a woman who does that, and I'll watch her, and she's channeling, and she doesn't know who she's channeling, and she's like, I'm channeling somebody from with this counsel, and she'll start talking in her body language, and I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I know who she's channeling, right? I've met that dude, and he talks just like that, and he's got this way about him. So you learn that kind of stuff, right? So I love Bashir too, right? Bashir is so bombastic and just a matter of fact, and he's just always, look, right? So I'm Samael. My attitude is the same, right? So Bashir is just a matter of fact. Don't be stupid, right? And so I love him to death because of that. Because don't fuck with Bashir. He'll just tell you to fuck off, and off you will fuck, right? I mean, he doesn't do that, but he could, and he would, and he has in other places. Bashir's fun. I like Bashir. Do you know the lady that channels Raphael? No, channeling. Um, I personally know Jesus's mom, Mary, and some woman who I never met channeled Mary back when Leonard was 22 years of age, and Leonard showed up to see if it was actually Mary. I didn't know the person who was channeling Mary at the time, and I don't know the soul who was the person channeling Mary. But when Mary was in there, I knew that was Mary, and I could confirm that that was really Mary. But I didn't come there to do that. I came there because I wanted to see, is this person really going to channel Mary? I'm going to check this out, right? And so then Mary came through, and I was like, Holy Mary, that's Jesus's mom. And I didn't realize that she was going to have the sight. And I was sitting there, and nobody knew who I was. And Mary came in, saw me, and came over to me. And her handlers were like, what is happening? What is going on? And she came over to me and shook my hand and said, I didn't expect to see you here. How are you doing? And we had a conversation. And then she was like, oh, I'm supposed to be channeling, aren't I? I'm supposed to be answering questions. I better get to it. And I sat down, and people around me were like, how do you know her? And I was like, I'm not here to upstage her. I was just here to see if that was really her. So everybody pay attention. And I didn't tell anybody why Mary knew me, right? So, but we know Raphael. Yeah. So we know, I could probably ask Raph, but do you know how many people channel? Even me. Well, not very many people want to channel Samael, right? Let's be serious. They're afraid of Samael because of being the king of demons and the chosen, chosen archangel, not the chosen, right? Everybody says they're the chosen. I'm the chosen one. That's a third dimensional construct. We're all the chosen one. But I'm also the angel of death and the lord of the demons, and I'm married to Lilith, the queen of demons. And so some people are afraid, they don't want to challenge me because they're afraid I'm the devil and I'm going to possess them. It's just not true. It's not how it works. Um, but yes, no, I do know Raphael. Raphael was also down here on Earth, and he left this earthly plane a few years ago, and now he's up there doing stuff. But many people channel many people. I've seen probably just in the last 2 months. I think I've seen 8 people that are channeling Mary Magdalene. I don't know all of them. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, he is very cheeky, right? That's my wife talking in the crowd. He is cool. He's very cheeky though. Um, he has one black wing and one white wing, just so you know. One bat wing and one feathery wing because he likes the idea of the dark and the light on either side, and he laughs at me because I have black wings when I'm doing darkness, and I have white wings when I'm not. But they're golden because I like gold. Samael likes gold. I don't like gold on Earth. I only like silver down here because of the energy and the way it is. But when I'm up there, I like to run around in silver or gold armor. I like sparkles, right? I like shiny stuff, so I like people to remember that, right? So you're either going to see me as total darkness and freak you the fuck out, or you're going to go, he's so gaudy with all that gold. He is in green. He says, I don't like that. Ha ha ha. That's funny, right? Yeah, no, no, that's because yeah, with me being down here being the green man, he's like, I am not green. He would say he's gray, but he knows that there is no such thing as gray because it's a dual aspect. So he would laugh about that. Love silver. I do too. On Earth, I will only use silver. I don't like gold touching my body. Down here, silver is the only thing that I like down here. But as Samael, fucking gold, bro. Gold armor. My wings are gold. My everything's gold. I love gold. Gauntlets, everything. So, how does it work? Can people channel the same angel? Yes. At the same time, yes. There is no time. When you're outside of the third dimension and you're moving into the fourth dimension, time starts to wane because your physical body starts to go away. Time is only the distance that it takes your physical body to go from one place to another. When you move into your spirit body, when you realize that you're not this pain body and you're not the thinking mind and you're not the ego or the conscience, that you're the soul that is forever. That soul is a light body. So when you move into that soul and move into 4D, this physical body becomes less dense and your soul body starts to become more dense. So as you move up, by the time you get halfway through the sixth density, this is because it becomes not a dimensionality anymore, it becomes a densionality because you're moving into spirit body, light body, you will be able to, with your thoughts, go anywhere that you want to go. And by the time you leave this octave, the bigger octave is 0 dimension through 7. When you move up to 8, you are 100% out of the physical into a light body, and you only communicate with people through channeling. So because there is no time there, everything's now, you can channel 10 billion people at the same time and communicate through them without any problems. Nothing's linear. I don't know if that answers your question, right? So I think that does, right? Yeah, I'm already feeling that. Right. So yeah, so you can do that. Like right now, there are people on this earth alone that are channeling me, right? That are asking questions other places besides you guys asking me questions. There's other people asking me questions on this earth, and then there's people in a different third dimensional planet that's nearby here that are doing the same thing. That I'm also there, Samael, right? That so it's weird down here, right? I started experiencing like this state while I was watching a channel on YouTube. I'd love to again. So what is happening to you is that you're more than likely experiencing the call to be a channel, and you're starting to expand your consciousness now to take a look at doing that. So cool. So were you saying that it doesn't work with the demons, or or Smith, right? Is that what you're saying? Can you explain that further? I'm not sure what you're saying. What doesn't work with demons? You mean channeling? Please restate the question for me. Something. Oh, okay. So it doesn't work with the demons or something. Um, I'm not sure what your question is. I think you're asking about, um, in a sense, the demons don't affect us. Um, yeah. Well, the demons do. The demons are there to do exactly what they're supposed to do, but they can't infiltrate you and take control of you without your permission, if that's what you're asking. So if you're trying to channel a demon, if you're attempting to do that, you can bring a demon in and channel it, right? You need to be careful doing that. You need to know what the fuck you're doing to do that, because then you're going to get me, you're going to get the dark side of me or somebody just like me, and I'm going to fuck you up because that's what we're there to do. Okay, so you need to be careful with that. But if you learn, that's the vampire. You know the story of vampires. They have to knock at the door. They have to have your permission to come in. That's the way it is with evil trying to get into you. Okay, they have to have your permission to get in. You have to allow them in some way. It's the same thing with evil people on this earth. That's why they've taken away your ability to know that you have free will. It's still there. You can look for it and you can find it, but they keep you from, they distract you as a distortion. Evil demons will try to do the same thing. If you try to attack them or physically get into combat with them, you better know what you're doing. You better know what you're doing, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble, because you don't have to. And this is what I train people. You don't have to do that. If you look at, I don't know if you ever saw Lord of the Rings, but if you look at Lord of the Rings, when they were down in the depths of Moria and the Belrog came out, that's a demon. That's a big demon. That's a soldier demon. And the Belrog came out, but Gandalf was able to hold it off. Why? Because he was a white wielder. He was a light wielder, and he could just stand there and it couldn't harm him. Unfortunately, he let his guard down too soon, and it grabbed him with the whip. But that was supposed to happen, and he was unaware of that. It was supposed to happen so that he could fall and become go from Gandalf the Grey to replace yeah, and become Gandalf the White. And I know that that's like, you're like, but that's not real. That was just made up. It is made up, but the entire storyline was designed to expand your consciousness into what's going on. So I greet you with the light. Yes, I greet you with the light of the infinite creator. I greet you with the infinite light, the light of the infinite creator. You literally, some of you may have this dream, and I'll tell you the dream. Some of you may remember having a dream where you were in a place where people were standing, and you thought it was a dream when you were standing there, and there was one person that was standing in front of the rest of you. There's usually like seven of you, and there's this horde of evil coming at them, and then one person holds them off by themselves until the horde of evil can't, they just get stuck and they can't move, right? I felt like I was physically attacked by negative entities at one point. That happens to you. This is why I said you need to be careful. When you start expanding your consciousness, when you start waking up, your light changes and you become a target from evil. We're actually going to be teaching classes on that. You can birth them too. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to be careful of that. Helping them become something. So you literally have to realize that if you become a light worker at all, then you're going to be seen by darker entities, and they're going to come after you and try to stifle you from continuing to become more into your own. That's the way it works here. Their job is to do that. So they're going to do that, and they're going to distract you, and they're going to make you pay for trying to be a light worker because they don't want you to upset the balance. They like things the way it is. Status quo for them is keeping this place stuck, so they can't have you waking up and changing it. So they're trying to fight against it, right? So I experienced psychosis this year and met a few evil guys, right? Yeah, that happens. A few evil guys, very hurt, etc. Yeah, some people that have chosen to be in service to self, they're evil and they like it, and they're gonna be aggressive and evil and attack you, use you for things. So the question is why would people do that, or why do you have to be concerned with it? Why is because they can, right? So you have to be careful so that you don't allow them to do that. Why do they attack you? Because they like this place stuck the way it is. Evil people that are here who believe they own this place like it. They're making money and they're keeping money for their families and they're keeping everybody prisoners. Nobody's graduating, so therefore you just keep recycling and they just have legacy money, right? So evil people like power always. Evil people seek power, money, and fame and control. Maybe not all of those things. They will seek one or a combination or all of those things. So some people who are evil will just try to control you and control your life and dominate you because they gain power and abilities from doing so. The same way you gain power and abilities if you're in service to others by helping people. You feel good about helping people and you like helping them because you see what you're doing and it makes you feel good and it upgrades you and you get this energy. They get the same thing on the other side. Okay? They get the same thing on the other side. What is the best protection against those attacks? My wife just told you that in the chat a few minutes ago. You greet them with the love and the light of the infinite creator. You put up barriers that reflect their energy back to themselves. You reflect, talk to the hand, talk to the hand. You know that? That's the saying, talk to the hand. Why? Because you're reflecting that. You have to identify them. You have to realize that there is only two kinds of souls, evil ones and good ones. So if somebody is a narcissist, they are evil. Learn it, know it, live it. Don't listen to them when they go, I'm sorry, I'll be better. And then they can only be better for 60 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And they go back. You know why? Because they're actually evil. And the only way they can, I'm going to kill myself if you leave. Fucking do it. Fuck off. And off they will fuck. You need to take care of yourself and you need to reflect their energy. And if you're with one of those people and you're not self-serving, you need to get away from them. Get away and stay away. If those people are in your life, get them out of your life. They are evil. They will not change unless they want to. You cannot fix someone. You cannot make them change. If they have chosen a path of evil, let them be where they are. You have to realize that. Change yourself. You want the world to change? Hashtag be the change. Why do we say that? Because people in history said, be the change you want to see in the universe. Be the change you want to see in the world. Okay. At one point I saw a white light energy and then it went into, and I'll have to look at it, went into an incredible fear. So if you're seeing energy and it's going into fears because somebody's projecting that onto you, or you're afraid because you don't understand the energy and you're the one that is becoming fearful, right? You have to realize that you are part of the creator, therefore you are a badass and nobody can harm you. The only thing that evil people can do to you is damage your physical body. They cannot get rid of your immortal soul, no matter how many things they try to tell you that they can do to you. The only thing they can do is kill your physical body. That's it. Okay. So you have to then defend that physical body and get out of the scenario where they can harm your physical body. Get away from that scenario, and they can't do anything to you. They have to use their mind and their wits to convince you to stay, and then they have to dominate you. That's what they do because they're evil. Okay. Do you believe sleep paralysis is demonic attack? Not always. Sometimes it can happen, but sometimes it's you being afraid, and so because you're scared stiff. You ever hear that term? So sometimes it can be demonic attack that starts it, but you're the one who is holding yourself in place because you're afraid. If you believe that a person has the power over you, you give them that power. Okay, so if you believe demonic attack will freeze you, it will freeze you because you're saying that it will and you believe it. Okay, that's what people who are evil convince you that what they're telling you is what's going to happen, and then you believe them. So you're creating that reality. Your focus determines your reality. What you believe focuses your reality and determines your reality. So if they convince you that they'll murder you and you can't stop them and they can kill everybody on the planet, if they have to get to you, if you believe that, you'll never leave them because you'll believe they can. Same thing with darkness. That's why there's that prayer in the Christianity, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because God is with me. Do you see? That's why that comes into play. Okay, you have to realize you have no power here. Remember, and Gandalf said that to the Belrond. You have no power here. And Sauron tried to say that to Gandalf when Gandalf was trying to free the Horsemaster from his grip. You have no power here, Gandalf Greyham. But he didn't realize that he was not Gandalf the Grey. He was Gandalf the White. So because he had the ability of the white of the creator, he was able to do that. It came on while I was listening to the Bible on tape after a night out of what and bad what. I'll have to look at what that says. A night out of bad. It doesn't, for whatever reason, it's not coming up. I don't like when it does that and it leaves that. So, um, so literally what was happening more than likely is you had negative energy that was around you, and they were making you suffer because you were actually listening to the Bible and trying to expand your consciousness. So either someone in your life who was in the house with you was evil and didn't like it, and they were trying to distract you, or you had a negative energy that was attached to you that you picked up icky energy outside. Somebody sent in negative energy to you, and you had that negative energy around you, and then the negative energy scared you, right? So yeah, I was feeling guilty, right? Um, are you a Freemason? Am I a Freemason? No, but I am a Knight of Columbus. But I like the Freemasons. The Freemasons. I'm a Templar Knight as well. But I've been knighted by the Roman Catholic Church, right? So I'm not actually a Freemason, but I am a Templar. I mean, a Knight of Columbus, and the Freemasons are Templar Knights. So we have the same background. We were created by the same people. So the Templar Knights that are out there now, the Freemasons worked for the Templar Knights. They became knights for all the different people. We're all descendants. I'm a Knight of Columbus. I was knighted. They were created 165, 100, almost 170 years ago now by descendants of Temple Knights, right? So we are, yeah. So it's a way of life. So in a sense, in the strictest sense, I haven't joined the Masonry. I could, but I know everything that they know because of being a Merlin and being a Knight of Columbus. I know exactly everything a 33rd degree Mason would know because I'm a 4th degree Knight of Columbus, not a first or second degree. So a 4th degree is as high as a 33rd degree Freemason, Master Mason, and then being a Merlin gives me all of that same knowledge, right? So yeah, he was a Templar Knight once before, though. That's why I was saying I was also a Templar Knight. I was a Templar Knight in a different life, in two different lifetimes that I was here on this earth. I was a knight then as well. So I was one of the Templar Knights that you know of in history. Interesting. I'm thinking about becoming Catholic. To become Catholic, you have to go through the RCIA. That's the Rite of the Christian Initiation. You have to. I decided. I've been learning religion my entire life, and I decided to become Roman Catholic. So I went through that, and I got knighted by them on purpose to go through that to become a knight. So knighted by the Roman Catholic Church by a Jesuit. Well, yes and no. Because it's the order that does it, right? The order that does it. It is the Holy Roman Catholic See, but they're also a knight as well. So yes, because you have to be a Jesuit. It has to be because there has to be a Jesuit in the history to knight them. But yes, there was a clergyman standing in front of me with the whole thing in the mitre hat. I knelt down and I was knighted on the day that Saint John Paul II died. We were just informed prior to that. And yes, I am a Merlin. I have the Merlin title. Yes, that title took me until I was 19 years of age. I literally started my training at the year 7, and then continued until I was 19, and then I was given the Merlin title. And then when I was 36, I was baptized Roman Catholic and given the ministry through there. And then in 2016, I went to the Universal Life Church in Phoenix, Arizona, and got a ministry there. So I have, and I'm also a Jedi Master in the Jedi Temple in New Zealand. So I actually have a Jedi title in that religion as well. I know it's crazy, but it is true. Yeah, but did you have to do all those wacky rituals? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I had to do the blindfolding stuff, but they're not wacky. They're actually teaching you. They're actually teaching you things, right? They're teaching you like to defend the defenseless. They're teaching you camaraderie. They're teaching you that it's a way of life. You become a monk, Right, I have a picture of myself. I don't know if it's on my Facebook page, but dressed up in the Friar Tuck outfit with the rope on there. Brooke, could you put that, whatever you just had up on the screen, put it back up for me, please? I didn't see that, whatever that was. It came down before I could put my glasses on. What did I have to do? I'm not supposed to tell you that. Um, the Jesuits are the ones that are pulling a lot of the strings. Well, I mean, the church itself. I mean, I don't want to get too much into the details, but the church itself is wrong and has been corrupted, right? I mean, if you know anything about the Rosicrucians and the Templar Knights and the Mary story that Dan Brown wrote the Da Vinci Code from, that became a movie, then you know that the current church is not, in fact, the proper way. So the Jesuits, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of people that are pulling strings and they're doing a lot of things that they weren't supposed to, because Peter usurped the church right after Jesus died, because Mary, his wife, was supposed to take charge of the church and continue. And all of this information is for entertainment purposes, so TikTok doesn't kick me off of the air. Um, right? So Deuteronomy is knowing, is that what you're saying, right? Um, Deuteronomy is knowing when you lay down arms or fight for justice is maddening. Right? So you are, it's a way of life, and you fight when you're supposed to, and you don't fight. But you, as a knight, is a way of life. You don't fight for the church because it tells you to. You defend the defenseless always first. The church is last. You defend the defenseless. You give a voice to those who do not have one. You speak the truth even if it leads to your death, and you protect the church last. Okay. How does one progress spiritually while taking medication that suppresses those experiences? You move past that. Um, you can, if you can find something that I agree. Now, also know that I'm not a doctor, so the advice that I'm giving you, TikTok is for entertainment purposes. If you can find something that is natural on this earth that does the exact same thing that you're trying to do with the medication, that doesn't change the spirituality, you can see if you can augment that. Otherwise, continue doing what you're doing, because the expansion of your consciousness will supersede any medication that is there in a negative way, and you will unlock and have downloads, and you'll have those experiences anyways. They'll start to bleed through anyways, but it depends on what you're taking the medication for, because sometimes they try to suppress a lot of stuff with medication so that you can't do that. Any church that turns away people in need isn't a church, right? So, yeah, if they're turning away people in need because of some political reason, then you know that they're wrong in some way. Ever since I had Kundalini symptoms, I have extreme insomnia. That's because you're keeping the Kundalini energy in your body, and you're not releasing it the way you're supposed to. You're not transmuting the Kundalini energy. You need to revisit what you're doing with the Kundalini energy and bring it into your body, but then also you're supposed to transmute that energy through your consciousness into your optic thalamus and expand your consciousness so it becomes the light of the world. It doesn't stay in the body. Okay, so if you're using the Kundalini and you can't sleep right now, it's because your Kundalini energy is now running your ego. It's keeping your ego and your thinking mind alive, and that's talking to you. You have to quiet your mind again, start over, leave the energy where it is, get control of your thinking mind, learn to ascend in your meditation so that you get to that place where the ego and the thinking mind cannot communicate with you, because you're in charge. You're the witnesser, you're the experiencer, you're not the pain body, you're not the thinking mind, you're not the ego. Okay? So remember that and go back and meditate and start that meditation process and your breathing techniques so that you can then gain control of the mind and quiet the mind so that you can sleep. Your body will sleep when you're tired enough, but if you're having insomnia, it's because you're not quieting the mind. You need to quiet the mind. Yeah, please stay in contact. Yes, please. I can help you through that. Please stay in contact. Message me on TikTok or find me on Messenger. and I can help you work through that so that you can learn to meditate. I can teach you how to do that if you don't know what meditation is. My wife and I can teach you how to do that. You can have anyone else. If you don't vibe with me, you can find somebody you do vibe with, and then we can do that, right? So let's see. Did you do gory rituals? No disrespect. No, no. If you're talking about for the knighting, no. All the rituals are very respectful. They're not. There's nothing that's pagan about them. They're actually to teach people to be able to work as a unit, to be faithful to each other, and then to defend the defenseless. That's what all of the rituals are that you do to become a knight, if that's what you were asking. Did you do gory rituals? Yeah, if that's what you were asking about. No, all of those are they're actually none of them are like like they show like skull and bones where I'm going to hang somebody and pretend that I killed them. None of that happens in to become a knight of Columbus. It's it's if you watch The Kingdom of Heaven, the movie The Kingdom of Heaven, when Balian says every man who is capable of bearing an arms kneel, and he knights them. That's actually the actual knighting. In fact, even the backhand, so that you remember your oath. That's the real knighting. But the learning that you learn is the part that he had to supersede because he needed knights. The learning is dedicating yourself, to God, dedicating yourself to a higher purpose, dedicating yourself to help people. It's a way of life living. It's the way. It's the way of life. It's not a title. It's a way of living. And so that's if that's what you're referring to. Okay, because I've read that the Masons do get walked up the ladder and believe that they're going to like harm somebody or something. They believe in God, a God of light who is Lucifer. I've heard rumors about that, but I don't know. I haven't vetted that myself, but I don't know that that's true because they do. Let me go back in time now. Okay, let me go back in time and when they did that, it was a cross between Hermes, because Hermes Trismegistus, three times great. Hermes was a Mason. Okay, and Hermes's knowledge was a secret knowledge that they couldn't have just everybody knowing. Today, everybody can know Masonry, but back then it was a knowledge that was sacred, and people would learn it. But the Masons were integrated into the Templar Knights, so the ritual that they did was the ritual of the death and the resurrection. So they used the noose, where they would put the noose on the people and kind of tighten it up and say, if you divulge these secrets, then you're going to die, and this is your death, and you're going to be reborn. So they weren't, they said that about the Templar Knights back in 1207, when the evil Pope and the king in on October, Friday the 13th in 1207, when they decided, the Pope and the king in France decided that the Templar Knights were too powerful and had too much money, power, and fame, and that they weren't controlled by the church anymore, and they decided to attack them and take over all of their money, because they both owed them like $100 million each. So they decided to take over all their lands and confiscate all their wealth and all of this. So they made a secret plan that at 8 o'clock in the morning Zulu time, world time, they were going to arrest all of the Templar Knights all over the world and seize everything that they had. So they brought the Templar Knights up on charges and said they were heretics, and they were kissing a skull and pissing on the cross, and that they were evil and they were worshiping Lucifer, and all that's a lie that was made up by the church. The church uses the same terms to out people today, and they call you a heathen and you pee on the cross and you kiss a skull and you're worshiping Lucifer. They do that with anybody. They still do. So that's just not true. That's not the ritual that you go through. But you do go through the ritual of death and rebirth, and it's not done in a way that you almost die. It's done in a ritualistic way to just show you that this is what death is, and now you're going to be reborn. It's like when you're being baptized in a Christian way, you're being born again. So I don't know if that is answering your question. Tell them who Lucifer really is or was. Yeah. So Lucifer, okay. So Lucifer, the name that you know as Lucifer that you equate with me, because I'm Samael, and Samael is what you guys know in history as the devil. Okay, so now Samael is going to tell you the true story of Lucifer. Okay, fuck you up. Satan is not Lucifer. Satan is Samael. Samael is the Lord of demons, an archangel that is in charge of the demons. The aspect of Samael that's evil is the culmination of the negative energy. Lucifer, who you're referring to, was a human who came to this earth after he blew up his own planet called Maldek, which is now what you guys call the Kuiper Belt. Lucifer was a general in the military of Atlantis, and he was evil, and he came down to earth because everybody had to move to earth because third dimensional life was no longer sustainable on Mars or Maldek because of the fucking galactic war that they got into. So he came down to earth and he tried to take over the earth too because he was power hungry. And there was a civil war that happened on earth. You guys know this in your history of the war of the gods. The people of the East with Shiva, they know that there was a war of the gods. The Germans talk about it. Different cultures in this world talk about the gods fighting in the sky. Ancient Aliens, the television program, talks about that readily. So that war was a civil war between Thoth, the Atlantean, and Lucifer, the Atlantean. Thoth's people won that war, and the penance of Lucifer was to die on Earth as a human. Thoth and the rest of them left and destroyed all technology, and Lucifer and all of his people were stuck on Earth to live on Earth, where they destroyed half the planet, and they were stuck here and they took control. Those are the elongated skull people that you hear about if you look at History Channel's Ancient Aliens. The people with the elongated skulls, which is why the priests wear the mitre hats. If you watch the documentary of Up Majestic that came out in 2017, you'll see the Ancient Aliens guys talking about doing genetic testing on these skulls that they got a hold of that aren't from here. Okay, so Lucifer was a general in all of the powers that should not be people. All of this is for entertainment purposes, TikTok, so you guys know. So Lucifer was not an archangel. Samael was the archangel that you're referring to. That is me. I am Samael. I am the devil. I am who you think Lucifer was. And I am telling you, Lucifer was a freaking human that came from another planet, that came down here, that everybody has equated with Samael, with Satan. Okay? Lucifer was an evil dude, but he's nowhere near me. Okay? Lucifer's an evil guy, but he is nowhere near me. Lucifer's my bitch. Okay? He was a person. You might be afraid of Lucifer. I'm not afraid of Lucifer. Okay? So the aspect of Samael that you're seeing a picture of on my screen here, or wherever the picture is, that is who you think is Satan, who you think is the devil, who you think is the ruler of evil and the prince of darkness and all of the demons. Okay, that's an archangel who's just doing his job. That's me. Lucifer's not me. Lucifer gives me a bad name. Right? So what's the difference between you and him? I'm eviler than he is. I'm the one who was chosen by God to be the evil one. Lucifer was striving to be me. He's not even an angel. He's just some dude who was alive on this planet a long time ago, who was a general in an army, no different than a general who's here now, who's just evil. He's akin to Adolf Hitler, Genghis Khan. The people who follow him are those people who are the powers that should not be, and they are Luciferians. There is a religion that is made that they follow him now, and that's the religion of evil people that are on this earth that believe they own it. That's who Lucifer is. So they are trying to get you to believe that Lucifer is the same as Satan, that Lucifer is the same as Samael, the demon lord, because they want you to believe that first of all, there's no God, weirdly, but there's this Lucifer, and they're Luciferians, and they want to say that they're related to all the gods when they tell you there is no God. So what is my purpose? I am Archangel Samael. My purpose is a dual purpose. All archangels have a dual purpose. God created the archangels so that they could be the balance in the universe. So we are the examples and the balance in the universe. So for that so do you like Lucifer? No, Lucifer's there's a Scottish word that's called pillock. Lucifer is just he's a pissant. but he thinks he's somebody, right? Do I love God? Absolutely. I work for God and I do what God tells me to do. That's the part that really weirds people out. There are two aspects of me. I should have put the other picture up. There are two aspects of me. One is light and one is dark. God created the archangels, so that they would have dual aspects of light and darkness, and they are the balance keepers in the universe of light and darkness. So I'm chasing myself around the universe, creating darkness and then establishing a light because God wanted us to do that. So God had us do that, right? Finally, the truth. Yes, Heather, that is the truth. The truth is there is no there is no good and evil war. It's going on between you. It's in you that your ego is the evil and your conscience is the angel. So the devil and the angel is in you, and that's the dual aspect of you. When you want to, yeah, I should steal that, and then you go, no, don't do that. That's not the right thing to do. That's the conversation. That's the narrative in your head that you're supposed to decide which one of those you choose, and you can be either one of those. And the archangels, some of the archangels don't remember when they're down here that they're like, I'm the good one. They don't realize that they're also an evil one. Okay, so there's a dual aspect of each one of us. We became evil and fell because God asked us to, but we also stayed up there. So we are darkness and light. And so Samael has a part of me that is the loving angel that will fight against evil, but the other half of me is the darkness that is evil. Okay, that is why I also am the angel of death sometimes. I'm not doing that because I'm evil. I'm doing that because I'm collecting your soul to make sure it gets what it's supposed to go, so that you can then still have an experience down here. We are here to make sure that you have quantum entanglement, Maddie. Yes, we are designed to do that and be that. So yeah, if you want to go all the way back to quantum entanglement, right? Yeah, when my ego death, I was listening to how light and darkness cooperated. So, yeah, for the balance, right? So yeah, when you don't, your ego doesn't really die. You just gain control. Your ego gets quiet, and you can tell your ego shut up, right? So the ego isn't dead. You need the ego to help you continue to move forward in your learning. But yes, you choose not to listen to the ego. The ego's still going to bark at you whenever it can. It'll just change what it says. You know, you wake up in the morning and it'll go, we got to do this. We got to pay rent. We got to go to work. We need to do this. And we got to put air in the tire. Don't forget to do this and that. That's the ego telling you all that crazy shit that's going to freak you out for the day. So the ego's still there, but you're just not letting it. The Native Americans call them wolves, and whichever wolf you feed the most is the one you're going to become. So if you don't feed your ego and you feed your consciousness will become more in loving and in service to others. If you feed the ego, you'll become more self-serving. So there's no real, it's not the ego doesn't die completely until you get halfway through the sixth density, because the ego was not designed to go past that. Evil can't go past the sixth dimension. So all ego dies there completely. Once you get there and move into the seventh, there is no more good evil dichotomy or battle, right? Um, you need it to help make decisions, correct? So you need that there as the balance in the light and darkness. It helps you because your ego will be honest with you. Your ego will be objective and go, "You're not fucking God. Shut up." Your conscience will be nicer about it, but your ego will do like Samael and snap you and go, "Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You're nothing." Right? So, a brighter the light, a darker the shadow. Yes, right? You can't have light without having a shadow. You can't have that, right? Because there's someone in between. So if you're in between light and darkness, there's always going to be a shadow. And the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. Absolutely. Right. So yeah, that kind of freaks people out when you tell them the truth, but people are ready for it on this earth now. There is no right and wrong. There just is experience and what you choose to do. People don't want that. Both sides that are down here in control, they like the status quo. So the churches make a lot of money by telling you that you have to be holy, 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 and the evil people make a lot of money by telling you have to be evil, evil, evil. Truth is, you don't have to choose. You just need to choose. You can be whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You have free will. God created you so that you have total autonomy. You have free will. I was so ready for that truth bomb, right? I know it's okay. So if you want to be evil, do it. People are going to get mad at me. They get mad at me, but it's that you're. But if you want to be good, do it. You have the free will to become whatever you want to become. So just take a lane, pick a lane, get in it, and go. Have your experience and learn. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Was the Unification Church made by the CIA? Nothing was made by the CIA. Everything was made by the CIA. I mean, come on, man. Those guys have been interfering with shit all over the world. It's not just them. They're a wing. The deep state of the United States is the military wing of the people who think they own this planet. They're in everything. You have the bankers, right? You have the bankers, you have the military, you have the clergy, right? So Rome is the clergy, religion is the clergy of those people, right? The American with their might and power and military and money, they're the guy that if you're from America, they're Vinny, right? The guy says, you know what, I gave you $500,000. You were supposed to start making the payment to me. Right, I told you you got to give me $50,000 by the end of the month. I'm gonna send Vinny over there, and he's gonna break your fucking kneecaps. Okay? When he gets there, you give him part of the money, or he's taking your car and he's breaking the kneecap. So when the bad guys tell somebody to do something and they don't do it right, they go, "I'm gonna send Vinny." You're not gonna like Vinny when he shows up. He's gonna make a parking lot out of you and make a freaking McDonald's of your house. Okay? And so that's who they are. The deep state there is the military wing. And different people have different aspects of the hierarchy. The monarchy is the English Empire, right? The that comes from the Roman Empire, and there's families that are fighting World War I, World War II. Those were infightings of cousins trying to kill each other. I just ran and told my sister that Satan loves God. Right? It's the truth, though. Yeah, people are, yeah, that's the way it is. It's unfortunate for people that don't understand that, and they're going to get mad and go, Satan can't love God because he's the devil. Satan is not equal to God sitting on a mountaintop playing a chess game for control of the humans. Humans are not that important. It's your soul that is being fought for, and it's not being fought for by me. I'm just showing you evil. I showed you the way. There was a time when the creator needed somebody to volunteer to become evil to create this system. Okay. Do you know the UC? It depends on what you mean by the UC. So the creator said we need to create a system this way, and some people need to fall. Some people need to do this. Okay. Some people need to volunteer to become evil and show people what evil are. Okay. My wife, who is Lilith, and myself went, we'll do it. And a lot of other people came with us. And we became evil, and we went down to a third dimensional planet, and we were born there, and we found each other, and we started cults on the planet, and her and I started a cult on the planet, and we taught the universe evil. And people have been doing it ever since. Then we went back up to heaven. We went back up to the creator, and the creator said, no, that's a dual aspect. It's permanent. You guys are going to be doing this, and all the archangels came with us. That was the fall that you guys hear about in the worlds. Sounds silly, but I'm telling you, to find the truth has been a journey. No, it is. It's hard finding the truth, right? And its own. So no, it is a journey. Your awakeness is the journey that you're trying to do, and because you are ready for this information, people on this earth are ready for it. I couldn't tell people what I'm telling you right now 10 years ago, right? I couldn't tell you that, but you were ready to hear it, so you're in this live right now. Foolish question. There are no foolish questions. There's just fools asking questions. Sorry, I was kidding. Okay, foolish question, but any great advice on lust other than the what? It's not coming through. I don't like when it does that. Other than where's the rest of the thing? It has something that there's more, but I can't do a down thing for it, so I don't know what the rest of that is. Any suggestions on lust? Lust is your ego. Lust is formulated from your ego, and your that's what lust is. So if you're going to listen to your ego, it's going to continue to tell you that, and you're going to have problems with lust. Lust means that you're wanting something in a sexual nature, and you want it really, really bad, and you're lusting after it. So you either fulfill that, there's something missing in your life, and you're either on the cusp of choosing to be evil or you're not. So if you're not going to be evil, your lust is just a normal thing that you have, and you just have to relieve yourself. Find a girlfriend, bro, right? Or find a boyfriend. But if you're lusting after someone who doesn't want to have anything to do with you, move on. That's your ego. You're listening to your ego too much, and your ego is telling you that something's there that's not there. So you have to move from that, right? I learned that as a child that you got jealous. Yeah, jealousy is also ego. Ego is the darkness in you. So ego wants control, wants power, wants money, wants fame, wants all those things, likes, clicks. That's ego. So if you're lusting after something, that's your ego. You're listening to your ego too much. You have to gain control of that. And the way you gain control of that is you choose. If you choose to be in service to others, you're not going to do what your lust says. You're not going to do what your ego says. You're going to listen to your conscience, and you're not going to do those things. If you're listening and you're doing those things, that means you're self-serving and you're listening to your ego. If you're self-serving and you're listening to your ego, and then you've already made that decision. So you're asking me a question that's folly. But if you're asking me the question because you truly don't want to be that way, stop listening to your ego and go the other way, right? And that's why you fell, because for jealous of Adam and Eve. No, that's actually a lie. That story's not even true. That story's not even true. That story's told wrong. The Adam and Eve story is about your awakening. It has nothing to do with the angels falling. The angels fell because God said to do that, because we created this scenario that God created and realized that God was lazy. And man, I'm lazy, and I created people and they know who they are, so they're not in any hurry to have experiences. And I want them to have experiences, so we have to veil them. And to do that, you have to have light and darkness. Adam and Eve was a story of think about that story. Let's go down the story of Adam and Eve. So God, you're supposed to believe that God created only two humans first, and you can't create an entire species out of two humans, not unless they're having sex with their own offspring, and their offspring have to have sex with mom. Okay, so first of all, you have to have incest after incest after incest to be able to have two humans create the world. But even in the Adam and Eve story, which they tell you is the original first two, when they get cast out of the Garden of Eden, there are other people out there, and they go out there and they multiply. So who are those other people, right? So secondly, it's about the temptation. It has nothing to do with anything other than, well, the serpent, the devil did that. No. That's the way they reworded the story so that you would think that you are beneath them, and that you need to be controlled by people, and that you did sin. You have sin, original sin, and you women need to shut the fuck up and sit down because you're the one who created this scenario. That's what they're telling you. That was a way of controlling women. They were saying Eve was stupid and listened to the devil, and the devil tricked her, and then she tricked Adam, and it's all her fault. That was how they got control of women and took the femininity out and kept people in that lizard brain, in keeping you quiet and shut up, woman, do what we tell you to do, so that men are stuck here and you're stuck here with them. And then they forbid you to have knowledge. You can't read, you can't write, you can't do shit. Look at Sharia law today, right? You can't do that. At the time of Jesus, 2,000 years ago, the Hebrew religion was doing the same thing. Most women couldn't read. They weren't given anything to do besides housework and raise children. In that religion, the chosen people. And Jesus came in and said women should learn how to read, and taught them how to read, because the women were equal to men. So in the Hebrew religion, 2,000 years ago, was exactly what the Sharia law is today. Okay, so you got to rethink that story. The story was not. So if I'm God, think about this now. I'm God, right? Don't get mad at me, please. Remember, I'm a minister. Okay, so please don't get mad at me. If I'm God and I create Adam and Eve and I tell them, why would I do this? Okay, thank you. Thank you. I've been saying that forever, right? So yes, right. So I'm going to give you some more truth, Heather. Stanton, listen to this. So If I'm God and I'm the creator of the universe and I'm teaching you this in the Bible, you're supposed to believe that I am the all seeing, all knowing, all loving God, and I created Adam and Eve. And I put you in a garden and I told you, I'm going to leave the garden and leave you unattended. And you can eat from any tree you want to eat from, but not this tree. Do you see the tree? Do not eat from this tree. And then you set the tree down. Now, I'm going to leave and I'm going to be gone for a long, long time. Do not eat from that tree. Even children, if you take a box of cookies and set it on the kitchen table and tell your kids, I'm going to work, you can eat anything in the kitchen, but do not touch these cookies. And you set them down on the table, those cookies are going to get eaten by those kids 20 minutes after you leave, 100% of the time. I'm a third dimensional human and I know that. If I'm God, the creator of the universe, I'm setting those people up to fail by doing that. Okay? Because if I didn't tell them not to eat from that tree and move the tree out of their way so they couldn't get to it, because I didn't want them to eat of that tree of life, then I would say you can eat of anything from inside this garden. Why give them the temptation and then tell them they don't, then get mad at them when they do it? I'm supposed to be the creator of the universe that's all seeing, all knowing, all loving. How is it that I didn't know that they were going to eat of that tree and get mad at them for doing it? How can I cast judgment on them? So, how do we rise the divine feminine presence? You look within yourself, it's there. Okay, so you need to look at that story. That story didn't mean that, and it wasn't that. The serpent, here's another thing that doesn't make any sense, and then I'll get back to Maddie, what you're saying. Okay? The story doesn't make another thing because the serpent, a snake, came into the garden and spoke to Eve and said, eat the fruit. And then they did, and they got cast out. And God's sentence to the serpent is, you're going to be a snake. You're going to be a serpent. Already a serpent. Snakes are snakes. Yeah, but now you're going to be a snake forever. Already a snake. Don't understand the concept of what you're saying. So was the snake supposed to become a human at some point? What was the snake going to become? You can never become anything but a snake. I'm already a snake. That story's been changed. That's actually not what that story is about. It's been changed, been edited and altered so that they can control women and say that women are the problem.